Tinky spun round from the board, expecting to get an answer, but instead all she got was empty space where Molly had been. She stumbled back a little in shock, her eyes searching the classroom for any sign of the vanished girl. Just then, there was a knock at the door, and our headmaster, Mr. Sternley, popped his hooked nose into the classroom. "Everything tip-top, Miss Tinky?" "Oh, Mr. Sternley, thank heavens you're here," Miss Tinky stuttered nervously. "My goodness, what's the matter?" Mr. Sternley asked. It's Molly McClear. She what?" Mr. Sternley snapped. "She disappeared," Miss Tinky said, her face as pale as white marshmallow. Mr. Sternley's face looked so hard it might have cracked down the middle. "Miss Tinky, if this is some sort of joke, then this is hardly the time. It's bad enough that Mr. Kovacs thinks I'm foolish enough to believe that he needs to take a month-long holiday after seeing a shark in the school pool. A shark, really? Of all the ridiculous nonsense. And now, a disappearing student? Utter balderdash. What lesson are you teaching?" "Maths," Miss Tinky murmured, looking rather embarrassed. "Maths, of course it is. Sounds about right. I'd bet good money that Molly McClear is bunking class in the loo. You need to keep a closer eye on your students in the future, Miss Tinky." And with that, Mr. Sternley spun on the heels of his polished shoes, marched out of the classroom, muttering something about sharks and invisible students to himself. Before Miss Tinky had time to say anything else, the bell rang. Time for our PE lesson in the sports hall, and we all left her looking under the tables for Molly. "What's your hypotenuse?" Charlie asked as we left the classroom. "You mean hypothesis?" I corrected him. "That's what I said." "Well, I'm not sure, but I did see a green flash just before Molly started to disappear," I explained. "Me too," cried Eric. "Shh, not here. These conversations should be saved for the tree house," Susie whispered. "You mean the danger gang," Katie added. "The what?" scoffed Ronnie, who was lurking around behind us. "None of your business, and if you hadn't been so rotten to Molly, she might not have disappeared," Jamila said. Molly was so quiet before she turned invisible that I didn't think school would be all that different without her. But it turned out that for the rest of the morning, classes without Molly were, well, they were missing something. Molly was our fastest runner in PE. So in PE, we lost the relay race against Year 4, which was so embarrassing. Molly might have been quiet, but in drama class, she came to life on stage. She was supposed to be playing the lead in the Alice in Wonderland. And today was the final dress rehearsal. Susie had to stand in for her, and she forgot all the words and actually fell down the rabbit hole. Molly's dad is a pilot, so in geography, Molly always knew exactly where all the places with weird names were. She even won our class the Globe Trophy in the school competition earlier this year. On that Mollyless day, we had to put a mark on the map of the world to show where we thought Paris was. Miss Tinky said we couldn't go to break time until one of us had got it right. We missed break time. In fact, each class we had without Molly turned out to be way less fun than classes with Molly. She might have been quiet and really bad at maths, but without her, our class felt like cinema without popcorn. At lunchtime, things took another unexpected turn. We lined up to collect our lunch from the dinner ladies in silence. The mood was super lame as they slopped lumpy mash and mushy peas onto our plates, and we slumped into our seats at the usual table, third from the door, furthest from the water fountain, in case it sprays Eric. Like someone had sucked all the fun out of us with a big fun hoover. "I miss Molly," huffed Jamila, stirring her food slowly. "Me too," agreed Eric. "Me 3, I added, not feeling hungry. Then out of the blue, Ronnie Notbog, who was sitting at the table next to ours, sighed. "Yeah," he said, "I thought school was rubbish anyway, but I guess it's even more rubbish without her smiling orange braces to brighten the day." We all fell silent and stared at him. This was the first time anyone had ever heard him say something nice about anyone. All of a sudden, a huge green splodge of mushy peas flew across the table and landed with a splat on Ronnie Nutbog's face.